Ohayo gozaimasu, konnichiwa, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it may be for you. Welcome to another episode of Kyoto by Night, The Second Breath. This evening, Pink Fox is continuing on with some delicate work for both herself as well as her Wu's plans to determine a little bit more information on their associate Kingu. And let's see what Pink Fox has planned to get a few more answers and questions, as they've been pulling up more question cards lately.
Upon the last meeting that Pink Fox had with Tomei, and they're mentioning that Kingu Koharu, whilst very reclusive, and despite their best efforts, they haven't quite found her yet. They do phone interviews, which struck Pink Fox as being kind of odd, but at the same light, however, it definitely provides an ideal opportunity for them to narrow down just where exactly they could find her. So Pink Fox does the only thing that she can do with the limited influences that she does have. She decides to send a text message to Chase Craft. The text message, the contents of it are not exactly stuff that we can, put on a public forum, because, they are rules and regulations for YouTube and Google. But let's just say it was quite lewd and quite sexually laced, and it involved things which, would cause copious amounts of, how can we put this lightly? It would cause copious amounts of carnal delight, should we say, to someone being performed on them. But nonetheless, yes. And Pink Fox designates the place, or the usual place, that such things occur between Miss Fox and Miss Craft. Her apartment.
All right. So the two of them have been able to show affection upon each other and are relaxing afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I really needed that. Thanks. Thanks for thinking of me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's an absolute pleasure, as always. You got a dirty mouth.
And she pokes Chase in the side of her face playfully.
Oh, you weren't complaining earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So how has work been?
And she actually cuddles up to Chase at that point, resting her head in the side of her neck, because Pink Fox is a little bit smaller than Chase.
Work's been going pretty good, actually. It was really good for us to take that invitation to Okasama, and thank you so much for coming with me. You definitely made a good impression at my side with a lot of individuals. I think a lot of them are still a little more traditional, but at least we kind of stood out in their mind. And sometimes, yes, turned a few heads. They remembered us.
And we probably put a lot of, well, I didn't see anyone blushing, but that doesn't mean that blood wasn't rushing to a certain head.
Well, definitely, right?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, well, and I don't want to discuss you or anything,
But I think
do you like guys as well? I mean, I'm sorry, I shouldn't ask.
I don't know. I keep my options open, I guess. I just I haven't really thought of one like that in a while. But
yeah, because you've had me between your legs all the time. Well, yeah, it sounds like things are going really great. I mean, who else who did you speak to? Who seems to be really interested?
Well, my boss has just said that we've gotten quite a bit of good advertising contracts have come in after our mingling that evening. I mean, I think I kind of surprised him a little bit too by showing up with you, but at the same time, I think these traditional guys also have a bit of a viewpoint in their head on what kind of woman would have this lifestyle, and so I think they actually I think it kind of makes them expect a little bit more out of me as a reporter, or at least that they're looking at my work now through a different perspective than before. Instead of kind of downplaying what I've done, I think they're not that they're looking at my work like a guy's work, but they're at least kind of, somewhat processing it a little differently. I think they expect me to be a little bit more tough than what they were before now. So
Well,
that should work.
totally. I mean, I don't know the whole game with your your job, but if what we just went through was any indication, you are certainly tough.
She plays with her nose, with a little tip of the finger.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't really gotten any new leads on any of the stories that I have been working on, but the museum doesn't really have much more to go off of. And then and that tape that I got didn't really. I haven't really. Nobody's called in. Haven't really heard too much. There's not really anything that seems to be coming up that's linked to either of those. So.
Yeah, funny you mention about a museum. What was the art again? I mean, wasn't there only specific art that was kind of
it was one wing. It was it was local modern artists in the area, in the part of the wing that got vandalized. We haven't gotten any specifics from the museum on which art pieces were taken. They said that the artworks were damaged so badly it was hard to tell what was taken and what was just wrecked. So
I'm sure they would have known, wouldn't they? They always keep records of where things are.
They know what art was there, but they can't really tell what was wrecked and what was taken because they've got it was very badly trashed. From at least from everything that I've read, and basically they're waiting to see something pop up on the black market that they know was there. I mean, I'm scouting. I've done a few searches on the dark web. I can't find anything that lines up with any of the works that was there.
If they don't know which works, kind of, were destroyed or taken or anything like that, do they know the artist?
I've got the list of on my phone. She'll half roll over and grab her phone off the nightstand.
And Pink Fox will severely resist the temptation to, because
I've got the list of artworks and what artists they were. I mean, we just don't really have, like I said, at this point, nobody knows what was stolen, what was not. They've reached out, the museum's reached out to each of the artists to let them know one way or the other. But other than that.
Oh, yeah? What artists were in this, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm
only saying this because I saw this really creepy art piece recently. I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard of what was her name? Koharu, I think.
Let me take a look. See here. And Kingu Koharu?
Yeah,
That
that's the one.
that name's on this list. Yeah, there was a couple. There's 2 paintings from her. There's a Takeshi Tanaka, Yu Kiwanami. There's but yeah, there was two from that artist, paintings. I'm not sure. The names don't really seem to stand out or anything like this.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying is that, a friend of mine showed me this this picture that King of Koharu drew. It's really kind of creepy. I mean, I don't know why, but, it was just this room, but looking at it just really gave me the heebie-jeebies. It's kind of like those, that picture of that Dutch artist, the one that has the Scream thing?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it kind of like, when you look at a picture and you don't know why, but maybe it's just like the way that it's been drawn or the way that, the effects and things happen. It just, when I looked at it, I was like, ugh, I just felt really sick inside. I don't know why.
Yeah, growing up, there was a popular thing where paintings or pictures that you'd have to stare at for a while, and then you'd see a hidden image because of the way it was done. Some people I knew kind of got vertigo from that too. Yeah. But yeah, no, she's local. She lives in Kyoto apparently. But
yeah, my friend told. A friend of mine told, because they're really into this kind of art stuff. They told me that the person's really reclusive, like a hermit or something like that.
Well, she'll kind of tap away a little bit. Yeah, there's an email address to contact her manager. But other than that, I got no phone number, no direct email address, and living address just says Kyoto. It doesn't say. I mean, I don't even know if that's Kyoto City or Kyoto Prefecture.
Say, you wouldn't happen to know who's running the investigation with that whole museum thing?
Well, I think they were looking at the possibility of it being an international ring, but from what I've gathered, they think it was just somebody local, because it doesn't match anything that would resemble being a professional. So they're letting the local police look into it. I think Wakahisa was involved for a while, but it looks like he has handed the investigation over to a younger officer.
Are you seeing the same thing that I'm seeing with Wakahisa?
He seems to definitely poke his nose in weird stuff and either keeps it or hands it off. So my suspicion is he's either one of those, I guess the vengeful cop is kind of a movie trope. It's probably more likely that he's probably on the take by some Yakuza or something. And they get him involved to make sure that there's no evidence and pointing in their direction. That'd be my guess anyway. Since you've brought him up a couple of times and some of the things that I've looked at.
Yeah, and the way that he talked to us as well, the party.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I think my gut's telling me he's on the take.
Yeah. His wife's a real bitch as well, wasn't she?
Meh. I tend to find a lot of people's wives over here or come across that way to me, even without a woman on my arm. They tend to not be too friendly towards strange white women.
Why do you think they got something on their gaydar?
She'll actually like cuddle up and nibble on the side of her neck.
That could be too. I don't know. I didn't think that was very unusual because I get that a lot, that reaction a lot. So,
Well, do you think this King of Koharu has, been talked to by the police? Do you think?
well,
I mean, I'm
from
just
what
saying.
I'm,
I'm not going to tell you how to do your job, but
I like bouncing ideas off of you. Sometimes I get
not just
crazy ideas. Yes, that is true too. Well, I'm told that they've been notified that their stuff was either damaged or missing. But as far as what their reaction to that is, I don't know. I haven't. I don't know. It never occurred to me to try to contact all these artists myself. But I guess, I haven't really gotten anywhere so far, and it's either just let it drop off the radar, or I suppose I could find out what they were told by the police.
Yeah. I mean, if nothing else.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Can
their
work
work,
through the
it's their
list.
livelihood, I mean, if nothing else, they've got to have an opinion of it.
Yeah, well, I suppose most of them were probably already compensated for the art prior, in one shape or form. So, but yeah, you know what? That's actually a good idea if I go through this list and just touch base with all of these artists just to kind of see what their thoughts are on it, especially if it's somebody local. There's a possibility one of them might have done this to cover either getting rid of a rival or stealing a piece of their artwork back. I don't know. That seems a little bit crazy extreme, but
Yeah.
at this point, I'd be willing to almost believe anything.
Yeah, Pink Fox will just kind of like sit quiet and watch as Chase fiddles around with her phone.
Yeah, she makes a couple of notes on her calendar and shuts her phone off and tosses it back onto the dresser, bounces off, falls on the floor. She kind of giggles and then just rolls back to face you.
And Pink Fox, probably Chase as well, probably just good luck to give her a few cuddles and kisses before attempting to broach a particular subject which was brought up about a month ago during Christmas Eve.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, for sure.
When you said that you don't really talk to your family all that much, it was during the in the shower. Is there? I mean, it was like a really bad moment, but not.
Yeah, no, there's yeah, I don't talk about it too much. I mean, I've had therapy sessions and stuff, but no, it was some rough times growing up, and but I've been able to move on for it, but I just don't see the point in including the people in my life that either caused or allowed to have all that happen. So,
and Pink Fox will probably like stroke Chase's hair just lovingly, just tenderly, just to get her to relax.
It's okay. you know, you can talk to me.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just, like, at this point, I don't know if there's really much more that can be said about it. Like I said, I just don't really have a need or desire to include my family in my life. I mean, just a lot of bad stuff happened, and I am who I am because of it, and I like who I am. So at least there's a silver lining to that cloud. But it's not the kind of thing that I don't think anybody really needs to have to deal with.
Because I'm getting a sudden urge to roll some dice, can I do perception empathy on this?
Yeah.
It's just I'm not saying that she's lying or anything about how much she's gotten over this, but let's see. 3 successes.
3 successes. Yeah, you know what? She's got a bit of a harsh wistfulness, but she's not coming across like she's burying it. It's more like, she's accepting this as a fact, and she has put it behind herself and doesn't really feel like she needs to either dwell on it or forgive. Like her opinion of her family is that she doesn't need to forgive them. And so she just does not include them in her life.
Yeah, I think common sense is basically telling me, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's telling me that while she does obviously blame the person who abused her, if I'm interpreting this right, due to those 5 successes on Evaluate, which we got at one point, while she does blame them, she also seems to be casting a lot of blame on other people who may not have known about it or been in a position, because if I'm going by
she
what
does,
my
just
real
from the
life
way,
knowledge about,
from what she's saying and whatnot, is she does feel that there are other people who could have maybe could have or should have helped her, and those people she also does believe shoulders the responsibility as well.
Yeah, and Pink Fox is probably going to, she'll probably still hug and stroke Chase's hair.
It's good that you've been able to put it behind you, but you can't hold on to bitterness. It's the only thing that we all have, these things which happen to us. They're not always, the same. Some are a lot more severe, life scarring. But
yeah, but at the same time, it's not necessarily holding on to bitterness just to accepting facts. I don't have to be nice because that would be pretending nothing happened. So I'm not necessarily holding on to bitterness. I'm just choosing not to ignore it. It is what it is at this point.
you know what the worst thing about things like that is? I remember this story that someone once told me. I'm not quite sure if it's entirely true, but if it is, I can only imagine just how they feel. There was this 16-year-old teenage boy. Doesn't matter what his name is. He was riding the bus as he usually does. And he saw this man and this woman drunk, arguing with each other. They're kind of, um, they're what we call Burkamen, really low class. I mean, I don't like to sound like a snob or anything, but the people that really, they have the worst jobs here, and the man was like, how can I put this? He was laying hands on the woman. He was pushing her around. Looked like he was trying to slap her at one point. She got onto the bus as it stopped into the bus bay, and the guy got on with her, showed a bus pass. He'd obviously, I don't know, prepared or something. And she was telling the bus driver, close the door after I get off, please. He didn't. He just closed the door as the other guy got off. Then he drove off. This 16-year-old boy watched the entire thing, along with everyone else in that bus. He doesn't know about anyone else, but he felt really guilty at that time. The reason why he felt guilty, so he told me, is because he felt so powerless. He felt like a coward for not having done anything. He dreamt for nights, weeks, months about what he would have done. He would have gotten up and pushed the guy off the bus. He would have gotten up there and he didn't even like the way the girl looked or anything. But he would have, at least try and put himself between the two of them, because no one, even if he didn't know what must have caused the whole thing. Alcohol must have played a part in it, but no one deserves to be treated like that, especially someone who just can't fight back. And he tried to ask himself, why didn't anyone else do that? Why didn't they get up? Why didn't they say something? Why didn't the bus driver do something? He blamed a lot of other people, complete strangers in this case. But then he thought maybe they felt the same way he did. Maybe they felt afraid. Maybe they felt like cowards. Maybe they went home and they cried themselves to sleep because they didn't have the courage at the time. They didn't have the experience. They weren't prepared for, witnessing something like that. I don't know. I'm only saying this from an outside perspective, I know, but is it really a good thing to blame people who may have been just as afraid as you were? If you need me to roll anything, I will.
Yeah, you can make a let's see, I guess manipulation expression.
Oh, good grief. Why expression? I'd ask if I could do empathy, but yes. Actually, there is one little trick that I could potentially use to bump this up, but it's a soul bridge, but I think it might be a little bit late for that, unless you'll let me.
No, if you wanted to, yeah, if you want to incorporate that into this, then
Oops. Oh, that's the thing. Oh, wow. That's definitely good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm using the one that gives you extra social die.
okay.
And that's definitely gonna boost this up a little bit. I think, let me double check. 7. Okay. I'm gonna burn a willpower point for this because not that I needed to. 3, 4,
It's
5, 6.
usually the case, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems like that. I think the august personage of Jade is having a laugh with me again. I mean, do you remember what happened during the first scene that I did, where you got me to roll a single die,
Yeah.
and I rolled a 10? Yeah, 6 successes.
Okay. 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 Are you going to use the soul bridge as well to try to transmit empathic urges, like
No,
to
it was just
affect her
basically.
emotions? But you're basically just trying to make her more susceptible to what your line of thought is.
Yeah, just to basically improve on the well. Pink Fox isn't quite expressive, but the soul bridge is the idea, hopefully, that they'll kind of like see things from her perspective as well, and hopefully this will also well, I'm also playing into her nature as well because
Yeah.
trickster and everything. The positive side of trickster.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. So instead of forcing to lead people into doing things.
Yeah, we're not. Pink Fox isn't trying to lead Chase Fox into this training thought. She's trying to get her to keep her opinion on things, but also consider other things as well. And maybe hopefully.
Well, she'll furrow her brow, and looks like her eyes are getting a little teary from your story, and that's I guess that's not really something that I had considered too much. I mean, my therapist and I had kind of broached that possibility, but she didn't push it, and it didn't really seem to dwell much. But
Well, I'm speaking from, well, the thing about my line of business, you get to talk to a lot of people.
I guess so, yeah.
A lot of people come to you with their sob stories, their anecdotes. My wife left me, my girlfriend left me, I'm failing my exams. I want to do stuff in life, but I'm afraid. I even learn about Monty Python from some of the people that come here. I don't understand what's going on, but whenever I look at some of the things on YouTube, the things with the fish and things like that. Maybe it'd be funnier if I learned English, but
yeah, I guess things don't translate too well. Canada's bilingual, and watching movies on the French station the jokes don't always translate. I can imagine the same would be, you should definitely not watch anything by Mel Brooks, because you probably wouldn't get too much out of the dubbed version. But I guess humor sometimes translates. It's just the puns and jokes and play on words, not so much.
Yeah, like do you remember that? Do you remember that time we watched Excel Saga, and they made that the joke about mistaking a Lolita complex for a rolling complex. I thought that was really funny, but you know, you kind of like were like, why is this funny? Why is it?
Yeah, I had to look that up again when I got home just to try to wrap my head around that one.
Well. God.
And Pink Fox actually like lie back and like stretch herself out.
I'm glowing. I'm still glowing.
Well, the night is still young. I don't have to work early tomorrow.
Kind of sounds kind of quiet, doesn't it? I mean, listen, like, you can barely even hear the stuff, the cars outside. It's like it's only 1 o'clock in the morning as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not too bad.
And Pink Fox gets kind of like a trollish face, which she expresses to Chase in no uncertain terms.
You know.
Yes.
Actually, this kind of makes me think. And I hate to like bring it up again, but do you think that's also kind of the reason why you don't feel, you know, comfortable? I mean, I remember the first couple of times that I brought you here. You were so nervous.
Well, I think most people are a little bit when they're first with somebody, aren't they? You know, it's always uncertainties and concerns, and not even just about themselves, but I mean, at least with you, it's not like there was a lot of surprises. I'd already seen you, but you know, you don't necessarily know what you're getting into either, right?
No.
And even the most confident person can be.
You already know. That, and you already know that I'm crazy as a fox.
Exactly. You know, but I mean, you know, that can be a little intimidating as well when, you know, the plan can be one thing and be very different than the actuality of it.
Yeah, especially when I throw like a wrench in the works, or you know, something unexpected crops up.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's I think that's got a lot to do with it. I mean, I think most people, unless you're actually like in a long-term relationship, you're going to have some nervousness.
And Pink Fox actually kind of like sits up and, you know, like leans over towards Chase and gives her a light peck in the cheek.
Speaking of throwing a wrench in the works, I think we should do something a little. I feel really in the mood for doing something really kind of crazy. I mean,
okay, how crazy?
And Pink Fox actually grabs Chase by the head, and she escorts her out to the bedroom, through the foyer, as it were, and into the living room.
I suppose I should probably ask you. What's the? I mean, you were into college. You were in college, weren't you?
Yeah. There's lots of accreditations that you need to be able to get to where I am.
Any funny college stories involving?
Not really. Had a guy pass out halfway through once, but I don't know if that's really something to brag about.
Well, if he well, in that case, I'd probably ask, what went down first, him or little brother?
He did. He just had way too much to drink, and I guess it was a little bit too late in the night for him. So
Here's what I think we should do. I mean, I would totally go for, you know, someplace different, but baby steps, you know, for you. I've got my key right here.
Actually, I'll just use this as a prop.
I think we could get away with doing a little streak down the corridor 1 or 2 times, maybe 3 times. I'll even do cartwheels and everything.
Between your pink hair and my obvious glow in the dark complexion, I don't think
And
it'll be much of a mystery. I don't think it'll be much of a mystery as to who the culprits are.
Yeah, but it's only if we get caught.
No, that's only if we get seen. It's not like your neighbors aren't going to know it's us, are they? Like,
well, again, only if we get seen. Besides, what are they going to do?
No. Sure, why not?
And Pink Fox naturally gets the keys and unlocks the front door. Obviously, she'll like listen and check too. In fact, let me. In fact, do we want to roll dice for this thing?
Yeah, let's just do a quick perception. Just
I'm rolling to sharpen senses and I got to check the perception. Okay, that's cool. Oh yes, 5 successes.
Okay. No one in the hallway initially. You can hear that there's like people outside in the parking lot. You can hear, downstairs people coming in through the doors or heading out through the doors.
I'm guessing with those 5 successes, I can gauge whether anyone's coming up to our particular floor. Or go.
Yeah, yeah, you'll be able to. No one's going to be able to catch you by surprise with that.
Okay. So yeah, Pink Fox is probably going to take Chase out the nude with them, still with her keys with her, and she'll. I think we'll first do kind of a dex stealth roll just to get ourselves situated. That's 2 successes, even though technically probably the 5 should count, but whatever. And yes, and I think we'll do a dex athletics to do the acrobatics nonsense. And even with, actually, I don't think, well, maybe her specialty would apply to this, but either way, that is 3 something successes.
Yeah, and she actually did not too bad with successes as well. And you guys don't end up running into anybody as you guys are running up and down the halls frolicking. You are aware that people are taking a peek through the crack of the door, but nobody actually ends up venturing into the hallways or anything while you guys are running amok.
Behaving like east-facing thrashing dragons probably should, or at least in my case. And yeah, probably after like a couple of goes, still trying to like keep the giggles in, and obviously like hushing to make sure that Chase is keeping quiet as well. She'll, first Pink Fox will probably open the door and she'll like go like she's about to shut it on Chase, but then still trying to hold the giggles in, pull her in, shut the door, lock it, and then burst out giggling.
Yeah, she's laughing very hard. She's like that was crazy. She's like, and she's like, I didn't realize how much I needed some crazy every now and then.
And Pink Fox will naturally close the distance between the two of them, give them another peck on the cheek.
Is your heart beating? Let me listen.
She'll put her ear down to her chest just to hear the heartbeat. Yes. Which with a heightened sensor, she probably still can.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. Which naturally she'll take the opportunity to power the whole thing down. Power the sharpened sensors down, sorry. And then, yeah. Then look over to her. So,
And she will actually pick up Fox and carry her back to where they were talking previously.
yes. Seconds away, round 2.
Exactly.
And I think that's probably a good time to.
And we will end this scene, but from repeatedly getting a little bit more life and excitement into Chase Craft's life, let's see if young Miss Fox can get some more enlightenment out of this gift of life that she is contributing.
Not yet.
Not quite yet. Just out of her grasp.
Close. We're getting close.
Getting closer, getting closer. But in the meantime, we've got an action in place where Miss Craft is potentially going to smoke out Koharu for the Zaibatsu Wu. And once she pings on their internet search string, they will continue closing the net to track her down. So we will see how that turns out in future scenes. Sayonara.
Sayonara.